Hello everyone, this is Chisu. For this week, I'm gonna talk about a book that I really love and that speaks a lot about me. I'm gonna add some of my experiences while I'm talking about this book. And so, back in 2013 and 2014, I listened to one tag video per week, and one day the video popped up on my YouTube feed. It was like the power of introverts. I was fascinated by this title, and I was like, oh my god, this is the one that I really need to listen to. So I listened to it, and I came to know that there is a book that was written by the speaker, because the speaker talked about her book in that talk. I didn't have a chance to read that book, but last year I read this book, so here I am to talk about this book. The book is Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. I really enjoy reading this book, and I found it very liberating, and I really love this book. And I also love the author Susan Cain. She is Wall Street lawyer. Then later she changed her career as writer. One reason I love about her is that because she and I have the same type, we all are introverts, and I admire her for her work. I also admire her for her work creating this book. And another reason I love about her is that because she did something that I wanted to do since I was young. In this extrovert ideal world, it is, for introverts, it is really hard for us to survive in this extrovert ideal world, because people dramatically undervalue introverts. So I wanted to show that introverts are not who you think they are, and they are also capable of something great. I wanted to change people's perspective about introverts, and Susan Cain did this in this book. So this book really change the way people think about introverts, and also they see about themselves. And Susan Cain carried out so many research, and she uses so many studies and also the real life stories of people. And if you are an introvert, you must read this book. Even if you're not an introvert, you should read this book too, because 1/3 to 1/2 of Americans are introverts. And as you already know that, United Nations is among most extroverted nations. So in other parts of the world, the number might be higher than this. So you should read this book. And in this video, I will talk about the summaries of this book and 3 points I extracted from this book. So this book has 4 parts. Before these 4 parts, there's an introduction called the Northern Soft Temperament. And in this introduction, Susan Cain explained about what introversion is and what extroversion is. He uses the words by Carl Jung, the influential psychologist. And according to him, introverts are drawn to the inner world of thoughts and feelings, but for extroverts, they are drawn to the external life of people and activities. For introverts, they focus on the meaning of the events, but for extroverts, they usually plug into the events around them. And for introverts, they need to recharge their batteries by being alone, but for extroverts, they need to recharge with socialization. But there is no pure introverts and no pure extroverts. And you need to check yourself where in this introvert extrovert spectrum you fall, and and in the middle of this spectrum, you know, there is one type called it is called ambivert. And Susan Cain also uses the stories of Rosa Parks and also her own stories to talk about introversion in this introduction. And one sentence that attracts me in this introduction is that Susan Cain wrote that I have been firsthand seeing that how difficult it is for introverts to take stock of their own talents and how it is powerful when finally they do. You know, maybe if you're an introvert, maybe for you it's so hard for you to show what you're capable of, to take stock of your own talent. But believe it, if you finally do, it might definitely be powerful. And in the first part, the extrovert idea, and Susan Cain explained about how our culture um, changed from the culture of character to the culture of personality. In the past, we have this culture of character. Our ideas of was serious, disciplined, and honorable. But now we have this ideas of our ideas of right now is gregarious, alpha, and someone who is comfortable in the spotlight, someone who is sociable, someone who is good at talking. So it changed. And Susan Cain also went to the Tony Robbins, like a seminar like Unleash the Power Within, and also she went to the Harvard Business School to to shine a light on the bias against introversion and to show the how our culture became extrovert idea. And she also explained about the group activities, like what she called the new group thing, and it evaluates the group work above all else. Our important institutions, our schools, our workplace, they are designed for mostly for extroverts and for extroverts needs, and extrovert needs for overstimulation. And the like the group activities, the group things are habits, but it has its own pitfalls. So Susan Cain talk about explain about the pitfalls of groupthink, and in this session, what she does mean is that she doesn't tell that we need to stop collaborating or we need to stop the group work, but what she really it does mean is that we also need to teach our children, our kids to walk independently, and also we have to give our employees the more freedom and the more autonomy and authority. So this is what the new group thing have pitfalls, and also she explained about it. If we give freedom to introverts, and the society can get the most out of them, the most out of introverts. And in part part two, and your biology, yourself. And Susan Cain explained about temperament and personality and how these two are different. Temperament refers to inborn and biologically based behavioral and emotional patterns that are observable in infancy and early childhood. But personality is different, and it is it is a complex brew that emerged after cultural influences and also personal experiences that are thrown into the mix. And she explained about the relation between genetics and introversion. And she wrote that none of the studies is perfect, but the results have consistently suggested that introversion and extroversion are 40 to 50% heritable. So it is not all about genetics, but genetics is also one of the factors. And she also explained about the differences between introversion and extroversion concerning with the topics like goal, rewards, and cognitive capacity, and also problem solving in this session. And in part three, soft power, Asian Americans, and the extrovert idea. And Susan Cain explained about the Western and Eastern way of thinking, living, and acting and living. And in part four, how to love and how to walk. And in this session, Susan Cain explained about when introverts should act more extroverted than the way they are. And introverts are capable of acting like extroverts. For the sake of the work they think important, and for the sake of the people they love, and for the sake of anything they value highly. And these introversion and extroversion are opposite, like the not and sort of temperament. And you might be thinking that the introversion, these two, introverts and extroverts, these two can, whether these two can get along well. Yeah, these two types are drawn into each other, in friendship, in business, and also especially in romance. And although there might be some problems, they can get along well. They enjoy this mutual admiration, and they enjoy a sense that like a sense that one completes the other. For example, the introverts. For introverts, one might need one wants to talk and the other wants to listen. This will be perfect. So they can get along well. And in this session, Susan Cain also explained about how we can cultivate our introverted talent. So this is the summary of this book, and now I'm gonna make some 3 points. 3 points are extracted from the book. The first point I really want to make is that the misconception about introversion. People might really think that shyness and introversion are the same, but they are not. Shyness and introversion are not the same. Shyness is the fear of judgment, social judgment, the fear of social disapproval, the fear of it's more like the fear of social humiliation. But introversion is different, and it is more about how someone responds to the stimulation. You know, like it is a preference for environments that are not overstimulation. So I am an introvert, and I'm not a shy girl. You know, I can be really extremely extrovert. I can be really extremely extroverted in some situations that stimulate me. It all depends on the context. So shyness and introversion are not the same. And another misconception about introversion is that introverts can't be good leaders. People would think that people would say that introverts can be good leaders, but introverts can be good leaders. According to the results of some research, introverted leaders can bring and better results than extroverted leaders do. So introverts can be good leaders because introverted people uh, give other people uh, run their own ideas and also come up with these ideas, and they think of these ideas, other people's ideas, rather than trying to put your stamps on things. So introverts can be good leaders. And the next point I really want to make is that if you're an introvert, you might think that introverts have no power, but introverts have power. And the most prominent thing is that introverts have the power of the power of persistence. Extroverts might be more likely to skate from one hobby or activity to other, but introverts take to their enthusiasm. This really gives them a greater advantage as they grow, because they can be competent in what they love or what they love, and the field that what they love, and because true self-esteem comes from the competence. So introverts have the power of persistence, the tendency to solve complex problems, and also clear-sightedness to avoid pitfalls that trips others up. So introverts have and the power. Introverts have their own strengths, and never think of all the introverts out there. Never think of yourself as someone who has no power at all. And also, introverts. Creativity and introversions, relation between creativity and introversions. You have this power of creativity, and according to the research, most of the creative people, 70% of creative people in any kinds of fields are introverts. So creativity, if you're an introvert, you might be creative in your own way, so let's unlock your talents. And the last point I really want to make is that all the introverts out there just try to be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be introverts. So most of introverts might feel that there is something wrong with them, and they need to be act like an extrovert. So they pass as extroverts. They try to pass as extroverts. But whenever you try to pass as someone who you are not, you lose the part of yourself along the way. So there is nothing wrong with being an introvert. Never think of introversion as something that needs to be cured. Just try to be yourself. What you have to do is you have to find your flow by using your gifts. this introverted power. And maybe your biggest challenge might be to fully harness your power and your own strengths. Maybe you are busy trying to appear like extroverts. Maybe you undervalue your own strengths and your own power. Maybe you feel underestimated by the other people. But when you are focused on the thing that you really care about, or the project that you really care about, or the thing that you really love, you will probably find that your energy is boundless. So embrace your introverted nature, embrace your introverted power, and don't worry about the mold of what others want you, what you think others want. Fitting in the mold of what you think others want. Just true to be yourself, and unlock your own talents, unlock your energies, unlock your inner energies, and true to be yourself. And for me, I'm an introvert, and I'm an introvert, and I really think that not only in the Western culture but also in Asian culture, we as a society, the extrovert idea is also in here. Like, let me give you an example and how we value extroverted culture. Let me give you an example. I am an introvert, and one of my aunt is an extrovert. And she's so outgoing and sociable, and she's good at talking. Everyone loves her for this quality, this extrovert qualities. And everyone comes to me that, why are you so quiet? Why are you so quiet? And you need to be more like her. You need to be more like her. And these are the qualities, the extrovert qualities. You need to have these qualities like your aunts. This is how people value these extroverted qualities and these extroverted people. And you will hear some other people say, "Oh my God, this person is so sociable, and she's really good at talking." And this quality, they value this quality. So many people value this quality. Society value this quality. So for introverts like us, it's really hard for us to survive in this extrovert idea world. But this book does really change the way I see myself. In the past, I really think of my quiet and introverted nature of being is something's wrong with me, and the something's wrong with me is wrong, and I try to pass as extroverts, and I am trying so hard to be the extroverts, and I always feel guilty for being introverts, but this book changed the way I see myself as an introvert. This book helped me to see myself. This book helped me to know what I am good at, what I am lagger as an introvert, and this book really helped me to increase my confidence, increase my self-confidence as an introvert. And better knowing yourself is really important in increasing, because better knowing yourself is really important in increasing your self-confidence. And introverts out there, you need to be true to yourself. And also, what's most important thing is that maybe sometimes you have to act like like extroverts, and maybe sometimes you need to come out of your shell and act like some extroverts. But what's the most important thing is that you have to give time to yourself to be true to yourself. The time to be true to yourself. It is really important. For me, I'm an introvert, and depending on the situation, I became a sales girl. That is that inappropriate for an introvert like me. But after the long day, after the long day of socialization, I really give myself the time to be true to myself, to be an introvert in the night. And it's really important for every introverts out there. Don't, you know, extroverted people, they never realize, they never understand introverts as how much we need to recharge our battery by being alone, or by being present, and by being with solitude. Well, why we need solitude. And yeah, don't be guilty about this, and don't never feel bad for being an introverts. So I really recommend you to read this book. And this is really a great book to read. And thank you guys for watching. Till next time. Bye.